Where you were at yesterday when you guys got the news and what the reaction was there?
Well, the first, we were watching film and eating breakfast when we got word that the conference tournament would not be played. And then I guess we were getting together at 2 o'clock to grab some lunch, and some of the guys had heard that the tournament had been canceled. Some of them hadn't, and so we got together there at 2, and guys went and grabbed something to eat.
We'll go Ryan and then Jerry.
Payton, I was just curious, you probably haven't had time to think about this, but the spring sports athletes, it appears they're going to be allowed to come back for another year, the seniors, if they'd like to. Do you think that's something they should consider for the winter sports?
Definitely. I mean, I think every athlete looks forward to the postseason of every year to win championships, and that's the biggest part. That's what I think we all train for, is those big moments. So, and I think an athlete, if he wants to come back and give it another year, then the NCAA should grant him one, for sure.
Payton, not to make this more than it is, but it's kind of like a death. You go through the 5 stages, anger, depression, finally accept. I mean, have you gone kind of through those stages the last day, and where are you right now? I mean,
well, right now it's such a weird time in the world. So there's a lot of different feelings. I mean, obviously, like our safety is like one. I mean, just everything is so crazy. It is frustrating because I really felt like this team, and especially for my last year, we had a chance to do something special. So, initially, it was upsetting that knowing that I probably played my last game as an Oregon Duck. But now I think it's coming down to just being safe and trying to figure out the next step of our safety.
James?
To follow on, because you're speaking there to an ambiguous person, but more directly, if you were granted the opportunity, you're someone who clearly was seeking a pro opportunity that whenever their calendar gets lined up again, will seemingly be there. But if you were granted another opportunity, would you return?
I mean, as much as I love Coach and being an Oregon Duck,
It's time to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
The follow-up on clearly Payton's decision makes a lot of sense there, but whether Shakur or Anthony were also
No. If
from a practical standpoint of how do you deal with that as a coach, where these young men may choose to return if granted that opportunity, but you've got guys coming in just from a practical standpoint. Forget about the finances; that's somebody else's problem. But just the practical of how do you handle roster management, playing time, all those things that on one hand you'd love to have everybody you can, on the other hand you can only play 5 at a time.
Both those guys are 5th-year guys, and they're probably anxious to get their pro career started. Obviously, if they wanted to come back, we'd love to have them back. And as far as Payton goes, he's ready. I mean, he could have went last year. He turned down a very good financial offer a year ago, and the NBA money is different, and that window's open, and I'd advise him to go. As much as I'd love to have him back, he played so well this year. It's time. He's ready, and as selfish as I want to be, I couldn't do that. I couldn't, in good conscience, even suggest that. So, no different than Brooks and Bell a few years ago. It was their time. So, but considering around the country, if players, weren't given that opportunity to play in the national championship, it is what everybody kind of points to. It's kind of what everybody wants to do. Not everybody gets that chance, and so whatever they decide, it's not going to be an easy decision. And in our case, we have a unique group of seniors, 2 that came in 5th years, and then Payton, who was ready to go. So I don't think it'll affect us much, but if Anthony and Shakur want to come back, that door's open, and we just have to figure it out.
Let's go. Julian, Brandon, Justin.
Hayden, do you find any comfort in knowing that you guys won the regular season Pac-12 title, you were able to get honored on Senior Day and have that moment with your teammates at the very least?
Definitely. I mean, those were special moments, and I think before the season we set out to make goals and to have a preseason, before the conference play happened, have a great preseason, and we finished top 5 before the conference and had some big wins. So I think we accomplished something there, being one of our goals to make a statement. And then the next goal was to obviously win the conference, and we achieved that. So looking at the season so far, I think we've accomplished a lot of what we set out to do. Now, we didn't get to finish what we wanted, but to look at it that standpoint, it has been a great year. And for me, my last year has been the greatest, finishing out with these guys and all the memories I'm going to remember for a lifetime.
This is for both of you. Obviously, the essence of sports is to settle it on the court, and to not be able to do that. How do you reckon with that? I know it's still so early with the news, but how do you reckon that the season's over and we don't really know how far you guys were gone and what would happen?
Well, you'd like to be able to finish the season, but this is so much bigger than basketball, and the people who are making this decision have a lot more information than we have, and so obviously these decisions were tough, for the people who made them, but they had to make these decisions, and it's just part of life. It's one that's not fun, but there's a health crisis going on, and we need to be aware of that. And this is just a small part of it, but you start breaking it down with, even like Peyton's family, his grandfather. What if he's following the team and something that happens to him? You put everything in perspective. You wouldn't want that. That's just so. We're just hoping that everything gets back to normal as quickly as possible. But, from what I've been reading, this may go on for quite a while. We start looking ahead, all the cancellations already that people are thinking about. And this is going to affect a lot of people for a long time. This is just the first part of it. So as much as we'd like to finish the season, this is much bigger than basketball. And it's just part of life.
Peyton, your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's the same what Coach said. I mean, it's just much bigger in basketball, and during this time, everybody's just got to be safe and try to get healthy, and that's the most important thing right now.
Piggybacking off of him, basically over the last 24, 48 hours as a coach, what's your kind of take on the whole scenario?
Well, you start thinking about a lot of things. I got a 87-year-old father who's in a nursing home or in assisted living, and that's first concern. And then you start thinking about older people that and I'm over 60, so I'm in that group. So. You just, again, it's so much bigger than basketball, and, you're worried. Some reports I've read, next 12 to 18 months this could, escalate, and, that's just scary, So, again, we're just in the first phase. This is the first thing to fall, and, we're going to read and learn a lot more about it in the coming days. But, again, this is just a small part you know, of what we're losing. It's disappointing at the time, but, you know, like Peyton said, we got to be safe, and our families got to be safe, and if this helps in that regard, then it's a small sacrifice.
James and Hayden.
Dana, I realize this pales as we were just talking about big in basketball, but many coaches have mentioned this, and CBS has discussed the idea of releasing a bracket because of the idea that there's a business side to this, and all of your contracts include things here. There is a business side to this, so whether a bracket is released or not does have some consequence. Would you like to see a bracket released, whether it's for business or any other purpose, to recognize your team's effort?
You know, I don't care. I mean, we know we'd have been in the tournament. You know, it doesn't make any difference to me whether they do or not. You know, I know some coaches would like it, and I understand that, but you know we would have been playing somewhere next week. We hoped we'd have been playing at 6 o'clock tonight, but you know, that's not going to happen, and so I don't know. We'd probably ask Peyton if it means something to him. To me, you know, we're not playing the tournament. It's not a big deal.
I mean, kind of the same as Coach. I mean, I think for first players and coaches and the fans, it'd be just interesting to just maybe the idea of it and just to see the matchups. But at the end of the day, we don't get to play it as players, so it doesn't matter.
Dana, just wondering if you've had an opportunity to talk with other coaches, either around the country or here. Kelly Graves' squad was poised for a run at the national championship. Just wondering if you've been able to talk with others and sympathize with them.
I ran into Sean, at the hotel, and I talked to Wayne. Everybody thinks they're going to make a run at the national title. So and all 68 teams have that opportunity. So. It's just, like I said, I haven't talked, I kind of pouted all day in my room. I didn't get out much. Fortunately, I had some family there to have a meal with, but just didn't feel like really talking to anybody. I didn't get on the phone all day. Tried to call, a couple of our recruits just to see how they were doing. But other than that, I just kind of pouted around all day, and just long day. It really was. We were up, ready to go, having pregame when we got the news that the conference tournament was canceled. So just kind of a long day.
Jerry and Ryan.
Hey, Coach, it seems like it's kind of a powerless position. I think a lot of fans and people with first reaction, well, cancellation, why not postponement? And what wasn't that probably your first biggest question? And did anybody? You said you didn't talk to any of Sean Miller, but have you heard anything of other people saying, "Hey, can't we reevaluate this and see if we can play a June Madness or something"?
I heard some people talk about that, but is it feasible? I don't know. Like I said, the people who make those decisions, I'm sure went through all the thought process there of, is this something that we can postpone? Is it something we can announce the teams on Sunday and play the tournament at some later date? I'm sure they went through those contingencies, but apparently they felt, it wouldn't work. And, with all the money that's generated by that contract and all the NCAA, I think 96% of their budget comes from that basketball tournament. So they didn't give it up lightly, and so I'm sure they went through every possible contingency plan there, whatever they could do, and it just wasn't going to work. We just got to trust people and the decision-making positions that, they went through all that, and this was the best. And the way it looks, with all the cancellations moving forward, they probably didn't have much of another choice to make.
Peyton, you guys obviously share this facility with the women's team. I'm sure you're friends with a lot of them. I've probably got to know some of them. How much do you feel for them, just given that, you know, they're probably the odds-on favorite to win the Final Four?
Definitely. I mean, they probably, like you said, probably gonna win it. I mean, I feel for them, but I feel for every athlete just to have that opportunity to play in the tournament, and there's really nothing like it. It's the most wild thing, and for me, I played in the Final Four, so I know what that experience is like, and that's once in a lifetime. So, I mean, obviously I'm feeling for them, but just feel for every other athlete that doesn't get the opportunity this year.
James, for both of you, just, and I realize everyone's still wrapping their heads around where we are right now. What is next? Because under a normal circumstance, you'd be going training and you'd probably be going to recruiting, and none of those things are possible right now. So, what is next?
Well, I think just like staying safe, healthy, and kind of just being with our families. And right now, I think that's the only thing we can do.
I haven't asked Reva yet what my plans are. I'm sure she'll have something for me. God dang, I might even have to do some work around the house. But no, I can't cook. Fortunately, Reva can. But no, I don't know. You know, there is no off-campus recruiting. You know, we're not going to be able to work the guys out. You know, it's going to be really different. You know, this is usually such a busy time. You know, like I said, we'd be playing hopefully tonight and tomorrow, and then you get back and you start getting ready for the first weekend, and hopefully there's a second weekend, and one year there was a third weekend. So, you know, it's a busy month, and you're doing some recruiting, and usually March is really crazy. But we'll just have to, you know, see. Like I said, I hope my wife can put up with me being at home, you know. So, but it is going to be different. It is going to be different, and now the guys were telling me, you know, that the EYBL and, you know, the spring recruiting has been, you know, canceled and postponed, canceled, whatever. So, you know, that's going to take April and make it a lot different, and so it's a change for all of us. It'll definitely be a change for Peyton and those guys, because, you know, they had that schedule set when the draft and everything, and now the NBA schedule's been pushed back, and, you know, they're going to have a hard time giving up those NBA games with their TV contracts too. So it's new territory for all of us, and it is going to be a long spring, a long summer, trying to get our hands wrapped around it.
Sure.
Assuming that this does get satisfied by early fall, or what can players, are they allowed to do? Do you have individual workouts, things like that you can do? And then can you, won't this make you feel better or worse, but can you talk about the future team, if it's intact like it is now, and Houston and Anthony go their separate ways? I mean, are you pretty excited, just assuming this gets resolved, about the future of this next team?
Well, sure. You know, we've got good guys coming back, and we've had Eugene and Eric's waiting in the wings. You know, I am excited about our team. You know, so hopefully, you know, we get back to normal quickly. You know, back to our routine quickly. You know, we were planning a tour this summer to Italy, which is one of the hot spots. So that doesn't look good, you know. So, you know, our plans are just being changed, and you know, we're not going to do anything that, you know, would endanger anybody, obviously. So again, our routine, you know, is really going to change. You know, I don't know what this summer's going to bring with the July recruiting, you know, whether that's going to be on the books, on the table. So we're just going to have to play it day by day and hope, you know, this doesn't hit as hard as some people are projecting, and we get through it a little quicker than anticipated. But it is going to be a change for all of us. There's going to be some ups and downs, and in the next quarter, we've got finals this week. We just got back at 1 o'clock here and talking to all the players about, hey, let's get through this next week first. That's the first thing. We got to get the finals done. Every instructor is probably going to handle them differently. So that's our first thing. Just get through that. Then we have spring break anyway. And then we got to figure out, the spring quarter, how that's going to go, and online classes, and it's just going to be different. So a lot of new territory here in the next month, and then it'll probably go out quite a bit more than a month. New territory that we're just going to have to work our way through.
Anything else for these two? Coach Payton, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kelly Graves in here momentarily.